Times reporting on government plans to ban women like me from female hospital wards. Carey, this is literal genocide.
Yep, trans women will be banned from female NHS wards, says Steve Barclay, which I know Joshua will have more to say than I will on this, which is why I'm not going to let you in. I'm just going to say it. First of all, I don't think this is just about... it's always been framed as danger to have trans women in women's space and so on. And it's not just about danger. It's about privacy, and it's about people's expectations to have a safe environment and so on. What's surprising about this is you'd think hospitals would be at the top of the agenda on the trans debate, on the trans issues, above sport, above prisons and everything else, because this is a place that the women's wards are where women sleep, and they're on drugs. You know, and they're having to get changed and having all kinds of operations or, things carried out for them by nurses.
Advertising.
Jesus. You're like, it's like you're writing a guidebook here.
It seems odd that wasn't the first place we started talking about. I do think, though, that on the trans debate, what we've learned is that doctors get things very wrong. Like, I identify as a middle-aged man and not as the age I was designated at birth. Wow, did they get that wrong? So they obviously know absolutely nothing. And I believe in accommodating people's feelings, but I think what this debate gets to is a point where, like, if you believe you're a dog, that's absolutely fine, but you're not allowed to take up a kennel in a dog's home. And in the same way, you can't take up a bed for women in a women's ward. So
it comes down to a pure safety issue, Josh.
It does come to a safety issue because there's an unbelievable story it's about a year ago it came out, but this woman was raped by a trans woman on a ward, or a person saying they were a trans woman. That's the thing, is it's not, when people think trans women and someone who's had surgery and whatnot, it's 96% of people who self-identify as trans actually just blokes with a wig or just long hair or whatever.
So just like me.
Or they could just be a predator who's saying that they're a trans woman. That's the point. How do people know?
Yeah.
And so a woman was raped on a ward and then went to the police, and then the police went to the hospital and said, can you help us? This woman says she's been raped. And they said, no, it's impossible. There's only been women on this ward.
Right.
And then it took a year for them to investigate. And the only reason they did in the end was because this woman was able to obtain footage.
Right.
So, that's just one story on there. There was a private hospital also that cancelled someone's very important surgery because this person said they just wanted to be treated by someone of the same sex.
Yeah.
We're also talking about people with disabilities. We're talking about people with mental health conditions. And so they have their right to dignity. Trans women have the right to safety as well, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But it doesn't trump women, and that's always been the problem here. Julie Bindel says, and I've always wanted to quote Julie Bindel because it makes me sound like a big old feminist, even though my personal views don't know. Oh yeah, good. Certainly if they've seen my set. But she says this is actually just single-sex wards being reinstated.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And it's not as if the trans women are going to be lumped in with the blokes. They're going to get a private room. So it's actually a great way. It's a great way of getting a private room. If you just turn up and say, guess what? I'm a woman. Private room for free.